Hey everyone, I'm Lauren McMillan, and today we're doing a quick sequence focusing on Cobra and upward facing dog. This is part of the Yoga Foundation series where we take time to break down some of the poses that you might commonly see in a studio class, but don't always have the opportunity to stop and ask questions about. So let's get to it. We're going to start by warming up the back muscles and the core just to build some heat in the body before we come into the back bends that are required in Cobra and upward dog. So from your hands and knees, take an inhale, drop the belly to the floor, lift the heart, lift the hips, already getting that feeling of bending into the back. Exhale, press the floor away around your spine, drop your chin toward your chest. A few rounds here, following your breath. Every inhale you lift into cow pose. Exhale, curl it to cat. Let's do one more round. Come back to a neutral spine and make your way into a high plank, stepping one foot back followed by the other. Press down through the hands, push the floor away from you. Belly button is drawing toward your spine. As you inhale, lift the right leg up. Option to keep the foot down, also option to drop the knees. Release, lift the left leg and lower. Let's do that again. Make sure you're breathing. If you want to take it further, inhale to lift the right leg up. Exhale, crunch it in knee to elbow. Exhale, crunch it in knee to nose. Inhale, extend out. Release. Lift the left leg, crunch it in. Inhale to extend. Release. Let's do that one more time on each side. Last time. Lower the knees, walk your knees back a few inches. Let's come into puppy pose, taking the arms out in front. Let your heart melt down between the shoulders. If this is too much on the shoulders, you can walk back so that your seat is reaching toward your heels for child's pose. In either position, take a few deep breaths. As you're ready, start to walk yourself back to a tabletop position, and then step your right foot forward between the hands, coming into a low lunge. Drop the hips down a little bit, being careful not to collapse the hips all the way down, but keep some integrity there, drawing the core in, hugging the inner thighs together. Inhale to take the arms up. As you exhale, cactus the arms, bending the elbows at about 90 degrees, lifting the heart, but trying not to collapse in the lower back. Keep the core engaged here. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, lower the hands down, step the right knee back and switch sides. Bringing the left foot forward between the hands, lower the hips down a little bit, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, start to cactus the arms, lift the heart. Inhale to reach tall. Lower your hands to the floor, step back to a tabletop position, and then bend your elbows, lower all the way down to your belly, extend your legs behind you. The tops of the feet are pressing down, toenails are pressing down. You can keep the feet about hip width apart. If you have any sort of lower back or hip discomfort, you can take the feet out wide, or you can bring the inner edges of the feet together, zippering the legs into one. Hands are below the shoulders, take your gaze to the floor. Inhale, start to lift your gaze. Maybe lift your hands here. Keep pressing the tops of the feet down. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift the legs, but not the upper body. And lower. Do that again. Lift the gaze, lift the heart, lift the hands. And release. Inhale to lift the legs, squeeze the inner thighs toward one another. And lower. Let's do both. Inhale to lift the chest, lift the hands, lift the legs, and lower. Let's do that one more time, adding on. Lift everything up, option to reach the arms forward, and then pull them back. And reach, and back. 2 more times. Last one, and release. Take a moment to move the hips around. You can bring the shins in and windshield wipe them from side to side. And then we'll make our way into Cobra and upward facing dog. So as you're ready, lower your feet back down to the mat. Again, taking the feet either out wide, about hip width apart, or zippering the legs together. Keep your gaze toward the floor so that the back of your neck is long. Pressing the feet down, press the hips down. Think of drawing your belly button toward your spine. It's a little difficult to do in this position, but draw the belly button in. Inhale to lift the gaze, lift the heart, come into a low cobra. Press your hands down into the mat. Think of dragging them back, almost like you're trying to pull your chest through the shoulders. And then release, return your gaze to the floor. Press down through the lower body. Inhale to lift the gaze, lift the heart. You can come up a little bit higher if it's okay. Exhale to release. One more time here. Inhale to lift. Come on up. Keep the shoulders relaxing away from the ears. And lower. Before we move on, the reason we keep the elbows bent in Cobra is so that you can continue to lengthen the spine forward. Sometimes people will straighten the arms and the shoulders hike up toward the ears, but this just looks painful and it doesn't feel great. Yes, you're in a super deep back bend, but that's not what we're going for. You want to extend the spine forward, creating space between each vertebrae rather than crunching into the lower back and possibly causing injury. So keep the elbows hugging into your sides and think of pulling the heart forward. When you come into upward facing dog, the arms will be straight. So let's go there. Press up and let's come through a plank position. Returning to your high plank, untuck one foot and then the other, so you're on the tops of your feet, and then lower the hips down while lifting through the heart. Often when people come into upward facing dog, they tend to keep the hips down, but we're exactly where we just were in Cobra, or where we don't want to be in Cobra. So as you press the tops of the feet down, engage the quads, lifting through the kneecaps. Core is drawing in and your heart is continuing to reach forward. So it's a very strong, active pose. Take a glance down at the elbows. Notice if you're locking out the joints. Keep a slight bend, hug the forearms together. I'm starting to shake, so you might be too. Just breathe. And then keep the shoulders away from the ears. One more note here. Often people will look up. It's fine to take the gaze up if it's okay on your neck. Just be careful not to crunch into the cervical spine. When you're ready, release. Sit the hips back over the heels and make your way to a comfortable seat. Thank you for sharing this quick practice with me. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial on Cobra and upward facing dog. Namaste.